All right, example 6. I just want to make sure you can get it into the calculator correctly. So if I was you, I would have a calculator and I would be practicing these with me because you don't want to get to a test or quiz and one of the easiest ones is just plugging it in and you get it wrong. And some of these are a little tricky because you got minutes and seconds again. Yeah. And then some of them are tricky because there's no button for them. You got to know how to put them in without there being like the first one, you don't have a secant button. But let's first recap what minutes and seconds are. Minutes would be a part of a degree. Okay, so there are 1 degree. Each degree is broken up into 60 minutes. So there are 60 minutes in 1 degree. We only have 40 of those minutes right now, so we don't quite have 6 degrees, but we're past 30 minutes. We're past 5.5 degrees. We're a little bit higher. There are 12 seconds in every minute, so that means there's going to be 3,600 seconds in every degree. 60 times 60. So I'm going to divide these two. If you just take 40 divided by 60, you'll get 0.6 with a bar on it, so I'm just going to round it to 0.67. And then you'll get 0.003 when you divide 12 divided by 3,600. It would also have a bar on it, but I'm just going to leave it like that. So your actual problem that we're looking for is the secant of 5.673 degrees. That we can put in our calculator. Now for me to put in secant, okay, secant in our identities, secant of theta is going to be 1 divided by cosine. It's the reciprocal of cosine. So 1 divided by cosine of theta is secant. So that means in the calculator, that's how you have to put it in. You can't put it in with a secant. It's just, there's no button for secant. But we could put in 1 divided by cosine because that's what the identity is telling us right there. So you're going to put in 5.673 in degree mode because that's a degree number. So you do 1 divided by cosine 5.673, and you get 1.0049. Since cosine is always less than or equal to 1, secant is always going to be greater than or equal to 1. So that's why our answer here is at 1 point something. So that would be secant of 5 degrees, 40 minutes, 12 seconds. First change it to a decimal, then plug it into the calculator. The next one, tan 11 degrees 15 minutes means you're going to divide by 60, and that's going to give you 0.25. So really you just want tangent. You just want tangent of 11.25 degrees. Okay, so tan of 11.25 in degree mode, 0.1989. So that's what you would get for your tan. The last two, you don't have to convert any minutes or seconds. Just got to plug them in. Cotan is reciprocal of tan, so it's going to be 1 divided by tan of 13. So you're going to get your calculator, put in the 1 first, and then division first, 1 divided by, and then you can put in tan of 13. Because it's reciprocal of tan, 4.3315. That's cotan of 13. That's what it would be. Cosecant is reciprocal of sine. That's where it gets tricky, because if you think cosecant is reciprocal of cosine, you're going to get it wrong. It's reciprocal to sine. Cosecant goes with sine. So 1 divided by sine of 87. That's going to give you 1.0014. So they're always going to ask you on these to go to 4 decimal places, make it more accurate. Okay, so that's the calculator one. You're going to have a few on the homework with calculators. The last three on the homework, and again, you have the link, so if you're still on this one, you can stay on it on your computer and keep working on it. The last one is, last three, are all just SOHCAHTOA problems. So we're going to go to 7. You don't have to write it all out. I would just draw a quick picture. And if you're standing 115 feet away from the Washington Monument, and the angle of elevation to the top of the monument is 78.3 degrees. So angle of elevation is always from a horizontal line that goes upwards, where you're looking up. You're looking up from horizontal. That would be your angle of elevation. And that would be set as 78.3. And they're looking for the x, which is the opposite side of that 78.3 degrees. They're giving you the adjacent side. So a lot of you may or may not remember your SOHCAHTOA. Hopefully you do. So on these last three examples, it's all about sine being opposite over hypotenuse, cosine being adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent being opposite over adjacent. And in our problem, we have the O, and that we're looking for O, and we have A. So OA is going to be our TOA. So we're going to use the tan. So the tan of 78.3 is going to equal the opposite side x over the 115. So to get x by itself, you're just going to multiply both sides by the 115. And those cross cancel. And you get 115 times tan of 78.3, 555.3 feet. And that's accurate. That's exactly the height of the monument, 555 feet. So that's a real life example. That's actually, they gave you the exact numbers. Came out. So you would just draw a picture. Any word problems that you have on the homework, just draw a picture. You show your work, solve it. The second one is using trig to solve a right triangle. What if we're given sides and no angles, but only a right angle in there? We know it's a right triangle, but we're looking for another angle here. We could still use our trig functions, because across from it would be the opposite. Across from the right angle is the hypotenuse. And with O and H, with the two sides, we would want inverse then. Since they gave us both sides, we can use inverse, which would be the 200 over the 400. Now, could I put that in as 1/2? Would that reduce to a half? You know what sine of a half is on our unit circle? We're sine of a half. We look at the unit circle. If you go down the sine column, you'll come to a half right away. 30 degrees. You put that in your calculator. You could put it in with a half. You could put it in with 200 over 400. So you do 200 inverse sine. You got to do inverse sine. 200 divided by 400. You're still going to get that 30. It is a 30-degree angle. When you have anything that reduces to a half for sine, that's going to be 30 degrees. However big or small the triangle is, if your opposite over your hypotenuse reduces to a half, then you are going to get a 30-degree angle there. All right, let's look at the last example and finding the length of the hypotenuse. So we want the hypotenuse, and they're giving us opposites. OH, again, is going to be a sine of 18.4 degrees equals the 4 over C. Now remember, you want to switch these two when the C is at the bottom, just like multiplying diagonals. So you're going to get C equals 4 divided by the sine of 18.4 degrees. So 4 divided by sine 18.4 equals, you get 12.7 when you round it off. Feet, 12.7 feet. All right, there are your last 4. That should be plenty to do your homework. Now, I will say, though, on the homework, the last couple of word problems, a little tricky. You might have to use like 2 SOHCAHTOAs in there to figure it out. But I would say don't give up. Do whatever you can to figure it out, because on a test or a quiz, you have to do the figuring out. So really use the examples to help you, but then go beyond and try to figure those out.